Good morning, viewers. Welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel. And today we're working on a 2024 Mazda CX-50 with the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine. And today we are going to be performing, I believe, its first oil change service. Now on this particular Mazda, the oil change is a little bit overdue. This vehicle is roughly at 8,600 kilometers, and the customer, they cleared the maintenance light. So I'll show you on how to clear it after the service is done. So before we start, I just wanted to have a look at the oil level and see the condition of the oil. And I also want to see if it's like burning oil or anything, because usually on a new engine is going to burn more oil than an engine that has already been broken in, because on a new engine the piston rings and stuff, they still have to wear in, so it's going to burn maybe half a liter or so on these particular engines. So it's always a good idea to check the level at maybe the first 1,000 kilometers. And some people, they like to be they like to do the maintenance, so some people would change the oil early, like at 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers. You don't have to, but it's probably better if you do, to get any of the contaminants out, if there's any, from all the wear and tear when the engine is new. I think it's a little bit low. It was like down here somewhere. So on one side, if you see that the oil is more than the other side, you want to go on the side that has the lowest amount of oil on the dipstick. So right here, the oil level is right here. So it's more than half a liter low. Usually from the minimum to the maximum dot or mark, usually it's roughly is 1 liter, but it's going to vary depending on the engine. So if the level is down here, it means that you need approximately 1 liter or so to bring it up to the full mark. So in this case, it was around here, so it's more than half a liter low. So anyhow, we are just going to get started now. I'm going to jack up the vehicle and start changing the oil. This vehicle takes 0W20 oil, so make sure you use that. And I have an aftermarket, good quality oil filter. This oil filter, the part number is 6607. I believe this is a rebranded oil filter. This is from Part Sorts. It's only available in Canada. So this oil filter is a very high quality oil filter. So you can either use something like this, or you can go to the dealer and get the OEM oil filter. It doesn't really matter, but this is the oil filter that I'm going to be using today. Now on this particular Mazda, it has all-wheel drive with the Sky Active G engine. It's the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter engine. The customer just bought this vehicle not too long ago. He traded in his older vehicle, which was a 2020 Honda CR-V. So he often switches vehicles every so often. So anyhow, I'm going to to jack this thing up, and then we can start changing the oil on it. One other thing about these vehicles is when I had a look at the VIN number, I could see it says Mazda Toyota manufacturing. I believe that there's a joint venture with Mazda and Toyota to make these vehicles. And I also noticed that on some of the Mazda vehicles they used the Toyota engines. So I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I researched so far, that they use these same engine as the Toyota vehicles on some of the Mazda vehicles. So the vehicle is all jacked up now. Just jack up the vehicle on the jacking points over here, and I placed a couple jack stands on the subframe, or you can place the jack stands anywhere here on the lip of the jacking points. I just placed the jack stands on the subframe where the bolt is, just below the lower control arm. So on this particular vehicle, there are two 8mm screws to take out. There's an access hole for the oil drain and the filter, so it's an 8mm. Remove the two screws out of the way, and the cover should come out. You have the oil filter here, and the drain plug there. So there's not too much to see here because everything is blocking the camera view. So this is a 17mm drain plug. I'm just going to loosen it a tiny bit first, and we are going to remove the oil filter first. It doesn't really matter on which one you do first, but I want to do the oil filter first so I can get that out of the way. So remove the oil filter. I'm just using a special oil filter removal tool. I will post the link, Amazon link, in the description for the tool. I'm just using a 3/8 ratchet and a long extension, just regular ordinary tools. Is anything fancy? This is the old oil filter. I'm just going to clean the surface first before we install the new oil filter. So just make sure you clean the surface, then reinstall the new oil filter. Make sure to lubricate the new oil filter with new clean oil on the gasket. Install it. Just making sure there's anything inside there. install these oil filters by hand only. I've seen people, they use tools and stuff to tighten this up. Just tighten by hand only, just regular hand tight. And now we are going to drain the oil. I'm going to use a ratchet and a 17 mil socket. If you decide to do this, then the oil filter is going to be in the way. So anyhow, remove the drain plug and drain out the oil. It's a windy day today, so oil is gonna be splashing everywhere. So most of the oil is pretty much all done draining. I'm just replacing the drain gasket, the old one here. Here's the new one. I'm just using an aftermarket drain gasket. This is a 2153 drain gasket. This usually works. I don't like using them on these Mazda vehicles, so if you can get the original gasket from the Mazda dealer, and then that's better. But this one also works fine, so I've used these a bunch of times before. It's typically imperative to always replace the drain gasket with a new one to prevent any future leaks. So reinstall a drain plug. I will post the torque specs on the screen for you guys to see if you want to know how tight to tighten this, if you want to torque it down. But in this case, I just tighten up snug and then you should be okay. You don't need to tighten up drain plug all that much. Spray down with your favorite brake cleaner. Clean the area down. Make sure everything is tight. And before you close this up, you probably want to add oil and double check for leaks to make sure there's no leaks. And you should be all good to go after that. So once you're all done, just make sure everything is all tight and you can reinstall the cover. If you don't want to reinstall the cover now, that's okay. You can pour in the oil and double check for leaks. Make sure everything is okay first before you reinstall the cover. To reinstall the cover, I believe this slides in just like this. This slides at the bottom underneath on this side. Reinstall the 8mm screws. So once you're done, you can pour in the oil, 020 oil. I believe this vehicle takes I think roughly 4.2 or 4.3 liters, depending on which engine. Could be up to 4.8 liters, I believe, depending if you have the turbocharged or the non-turbocharged engine. But I think it takes a little bit more than this. I always see the manufacturers, they understate the amount of oil for some reason, so it's going to vary. So it's not always going to be the exact amount. A lot of people in the comments are always fighting with me with the capacity and stuff. It's going to vary. It's not always going to be the exact amount. It's going to vary depending on the condition, but it will be close, relatively close, from between vehicle to vehicle. So we'll see in how much this takes, and then we will check the level afterwards. I can try putting like 4.5 liters and then check it then. But I know that this vehicle takes a lot more than that. I think maybe just a bit over 5 liters, but we'll see. I'll probably put like 4.5 and then have a look at the oil level. So I'm just going to bring this vehicle down first, and then we will start the engine and run it for half a minute and then shut it off, and we will have a look at the oil level. So we are going to start the engine now. So we're going to have a look at the oil level. See, oil level is low still down here. About 4.75 liters. So it's up to here. It's still low. So I still have to add, if by any chance that on one end of the dipstick there's more oil and the other end is less oil, you want to believe the side that has less oil on it. That's the oil level. So still low even after putting 4.75 liters. So I'm going to top it up a bit more. I don't care on what anybody says. I top it up until the oil level reads full. If it's not full, then it's not the proper reading. It does not matter on what the owner's manual states or what the specifications states. If the engine is not full of oil on the dipstick, then you need to add more oil. It doesn't matter on what the capacity is. The capacity is probably 4.3 liters, but that's not enough. You have to add more oil. Cause I'm showing you right now on the dipstick that it's still low. So a lot of people, they fight with me sometimes saying that no, it's this much, this and that. I just put on whatever amount of oil the engine needs, and that's it. So we'll pour in the rest. That's 5 liters now. I think this takes about 5.25 liters. clean the oil cap. Now we're going to check the oil level. One thing I forgot to mention is that you want to make sure that the vehicle is on level ground or close to level ground, so you can check the level properly. And now the oil is full now. I put about 5.25 or 5.5 liters to get this to the full mark. So now it's full. This is after putting about around 5.25 to 5.5 liters. That's how much I need to fill this all the way up to the full mark. The vehicle is already off the jacks and jack stands on the driveway, so it's full now. So we're all good to go from here. I'm just going to clean this up. Any oil spillage. And then now we are just going to reset the maintenance light. There was a warning light, but the customer cleared it. But I'm going to show you on how to clear it in case that you guys want to clear the maintenance light. So in order to clear the maintenance light, and this has the push start stop ignition, you have to use the thumb wheel here. Go to, let's see here, to Mazda. I think under communication. So let's go back from here. Information. Vehicle status monitor. Next service, they put at 9,000. I'm going to change that to 8,000. Tells you the tire pressures. Vehicle maintenance says automatic. Go to manual, and you can input the year. 2024. Today is November. I think it's the 27th. We'll just put the 27th and go back. You can customize the distance. 8,000. Go back, and then that's it. So I need to change the date. You have to change the date. I put today's date. So we'll put the 6 months. So December, January, February, March, April, May. So we'll put May of next year. 27th next year. I wasn't thinking earlier. So there we go. May 27th, 2025, 8,000 kilometers. And that's it. And go back. You push this for enter and this to go back. and you're all good to go now. Just make sure that all of the warning lights have cleared. The service do, or usually there will be like a wrench light, something like that, say that service is due. And so that's all you need to know for clearing the maintenance light. So the amount of oil that came out is roughly a bit more than 4.5, 4.6, 4.75 liters, approximately. That's how much came out of the engine. And when I checked the level was low. So when the level was low, it had about this much oil in it. So that's how I know that it takes roughly 5.25 to 5.5 liters approximately. That's the actual capacity for this engine. So that's it for this one. That concludes the video of this 2024 Mazda CX-50 oil change service. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and please don't forget to hit that bell notification if you haven't done so. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and take care.